Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And Snap-on, when they came out with their out the front trim tool, you know, I kind of took a second look at my Matco here. I really like this. It's kind of fun, ridiculous though. But to have maybe an out the front one like this, well, maybe if it was made by a well-known company and I could get it serviced, that might be different. But it didn't matter because they were all sold out. And I thought, oh good, you know, the hype will be gone. I don't have to do it for my channel. I saved 90 bucks. And then my Snap-on dealers that I know called and said, hey, I'll be getting some more in. Do you want one? And it's like, oh, geez, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about the design, about, you know, did they put enough engineering into the front end? Plus, it's a prying tool. It's designed to go this way, which is a problem here. You know, with this, where you're prying on the pivot, it's be like if you had a knife blade and you're trying to go sideways with it. That's not how these are designed. They're designed, you know, more for the push and pull end. But whatever. In fact, I started thinking maybe a butterfly design for a trim tool. That one's still out there. Hey Mac, if you're listening, that one's, nobody's done that as far as I know. You'd have to figure out a way to get that bend in there into the frame, but you know, you might be able to do it because this one does fit in there, so I think you could do it. Somebody's smart enough. But anyway, what it also got me thinking is I went in and I was looking at the different trim tools and realized, you know what, a long trim tool makes way more sense to me than an out the front one or even some of the shorter ones. And I didn't have a long one. And I contacted a Snap-on dealer and he said he had one, but it had a red handle. The red handle, you know, it's not a deal killer. My others are red. They're right here. But he said, you know, I could just throw a screwdriver handle on it, which he did. And that's not a big deal. Then you'll have your green handle. Good for you. People like colors. And I thought, yeah, sure, I'll get this. This makes more sense. It's half the price of a out the front, you know, little trim tool that doesn't have much more than that. In fact, a little less, I think. And he went ahead and did it. Popped off the red handle, put this one on, pounded it in, and I hate it. And here's why. This Instinct handle is not as innocent as you think. I think it requires indexing. Now, we also said the part number will be wrong, so, you know, for if that matters, doesn't to me. I'm actually going to take this back and have it indexed. If you look at the design, the lineup, where Snap-on has this higher, at least one of the corners of this kind of tri-lobed Instinct handle is lined up with the tool. This one is not. So the tool, you can see, is here. If I slide this forward, it's off center. And the moment I picked it up, I thought something feels weird. I don't like this. The indexing angles the tool. As you can see there, when I hold it, it should be, if I hold it level, I've got this kind of a skewed handle. Now with the screwdrivers, maybe it doesn't matter as much. It certainly probably doesn't on a Phillips, maybe a little bit more on a slotted, I don't know. Didn't put slotted out here. All these round handles, I kind of got them out and started playing. Fluke's got two little points here. That's probably to keep it from rolling away. Knipex, pretty much round, and Vera too. Klein, perfect circle. The Vessel, also a circle. You just don't notice these things in daily life. This has got basically, you know, two orientations for a, well, this is a straight pry bar, but also it's lined up. And you notice that. It's like, you know, picking up a computer mouse or something. There's an orientation. So I started looking at some of my picks, and yeah, there is a lineup when you grab a hold of this thing to put it into a position maybe for expected use. You know, I was looking at this. Okay, how's this one lined up? Is this kind of crooked, or is this, no, that's actually, it lines up. Ratchets, the new ones have a little bit of ovalizing. Obviously, if it's round, it doesn't matter. But that matters to have this lined up. And I've done a video a long time ago where my handle, it was a square handle. Guess I don't have one of those. Here's one. And it was just off a little bit. And I noticed it. And, you know, some people were probably thinking, gosh, what a prima donna. He's going to contact Snap-on because his handle's crooked, you know, or a little bit askew. Well, I noticed it right away. This one was another one where I had a new blade put on this handle. This was kind of a custom tool, and once again, it was just stuck on with no real attention to the orientation. So there it is. That's what it looks like on that end. It's right there. So it's a little closer. I didn't notice it as much, but it's off. It's off if I compare it to this tool here, where I've got a flat side if my pick is flat, or on the level, on the plane. But I didn't notice it a whole lot. I did notice it, but the Instinct handle, night and day. So this guy is going back. Now the Snap-on dealers did say, hey, if you want me to just order one, that's no problem. I should have said yes and not bothered having him swap handles. But it feels awful in the hand. And it's such a subtle thing. You give it to anybody else, they probably aren't going to notice. They'll make their adjustments. But I really like the Instinct handles. I use them on a lot of things. And the moment I picked it up, it's off. I'm not expecting, or I'm not anticipating or predicting the proper orientation with the handle. It's going to be crooked. And I'm going to have to make a wrist adjustment, to get that thing out there. And I don't like that. It was huge and it was obvious. So the Instinct handle, to me, if it's aligned properly, I love them. They're great. Some people hate them. That's fine. We got all kinds of choices here. But boy, if it's on a highly directional tool, and this basically has one direction, grab this one over, a little shorter. There is one position for this. It's not a screwdriver, even a pick, often you can use in different angles. This has to be just right in your hand, because there is one angle that you use it at, and this is not it. I would have thought he'd even line up the logo. Maybe I could have worked around that, but when I look at these a little closer, the logo is not lined up on the plane. This bump is, this right there. That is the indexing point. So I'm going to have him pull it and adjust it, but I've got to figure out exactly where. I'll probably bring one of these in just to line it up. But that was huge. I know it seems awfully picky, but boy, there's a lot to this Instinct handle. Might seem like a simple thing, but when it's wrong, boy, does it feel wrong. It's strange. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Be nice, but seriously, if you've encountered something like that, where you just pick up the tool and the handle is not aligned correctly for you anyway, let me know. Or am I the only one out there this picky? But there it is. And with that, Doc out.